we're back.
Yes, we are.
For episode 15.
15.
15 episodes.
Amazing.
Of the madness that is our twin flame journey.
The madness. If you sum it up, you have to sum it up as, this is what you signed up for.
Right. You started watching it.
Well, so we...
You started watching it. Do you regret that now?
Well, I want to kind of sum up some things before we go further into what we've shared with all 15 that you've seen so far. The reason why we are sharing it in such truth is for you to find the truth. In all unions, or even all just point of origin connections, there's a truth, and that truth isn't outlined by what we have in the mind or in the ego or any of the sort. We're all infected with a certain thing that we come into this world with, and it blinds us to the truth. Doesn't matter if you've gone through where you were abandoned as a child or you were traumatized as a child. One of the things that this union does is take you back. You have to go back to go forward in this case. Everything from what you remember and everything that you can hold on to for the moment you're born. This is almost like the reset button for that.
Right.
And see all the different choices you could have made. Most importantly, how you have to let go of everything and just forgive. Because we create so many conditions just by not forgiving. And the moment you don't forgive, that's another condition you're going to have to pull out of you at some point.
We're getting so many messages from people saying, your story sounds just like mine. Your story sounds just like ours. And my twin is getting married. What do I do? And my response is like, I did it. Not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's really quite enlightening if you're watching and if you've kept up, because what we really wanted to make sure that you're aware of is that when you come into awakening or even enlightenment, there is some trash you have to go through.
Right.
No matter how bad that trash is, no matter what that trash is, no matter where it's supposed to take you, there is a reason for everything. And there's a purpose for everything.
Right.
So, being able to go down deep into the depth of what you are and be able to speak that truth out after, think about it. I mean, how deep do you think this love goes? Yes, we can always stay in the bubble phase if we want to, or be in the honeymoon phase for as long as we want. But there's a deeper truth that we share that connects us deeper than... I don't even think really what this is doing is even going to justify to you guys what it is for us. We get to live this day in and day out, and we wake up and the reset buttons hit, and we get it. We get it in so many different ways. But enough of the bubbly talk. Let's get to the finale.
Well, there's no finale.
Well, it was fine.
It's like that. Well, right. But we had one person say, when do we get to the happily ever after?
Oh, speaking of that, we wanted to kind of address that. We love you, Disney. We do. And we love all of the movies we get to watch where they have a happily ever after. And they have the, da, 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 and they get married. But they don't show you after that.
Right.
Even in the greatest love stories that you see, they never show you how to get there. I think there's only one movie that's probably done that right. And one. And that was The Notebook, where they showed them passing away at the end. But at least that is
a great movie, and I've only seen it once.
You don't even see all the stuff that they go through to get. I bought that for you for Christmas.
I know you bought it for me, but I've only really seen it once.
We're going to discuss that. Anyway.
I can't be in any more trouble than I've been in the past.
She's got that right. So I would tell you that at that point in time, for me, I was done. Um, and when I mean I was done, I mean the pain that I embraced and endured to just go, she's not ready. This was not meant to be, and this is not the lifetime for it to be within. And, even what it is, I mean, we're not connected. I mean, I started to convince myself that.
We
Now it
can't be
was,
connected.
yeah,
Right.
we can't be connected. Why would I be getting, why would this keep happening over and over again? So, after ego, it suddenly emerged and said, no, it isn't real. I moved on. Um,
Explain.
I met somebody else.
Met somebody else?
Well, somebody that I used to know, I started talking to on a more serious level and decided that I was going that direction. And even went as far as to say that I love that person, went as far as to say that I wanted to be with that person, I moved on. It was the direction I could go.
She lived in another state.
She lived in another state. So, it was one of those things where I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to, I didn't want to be alone, but I could have been okay alone, but I just chose that no, now I could move on. Because, I mean, she had been moving on before. And I was not aware. But I didn't know, because I didn't read her letters, I didn't know anything. Honestly, all I knew was that I was continuing to be lied to over and over and over and over and over again. And to me, that was what did it for me. That just told me that I wasn't worthy of any truth.
At this point, I was probably about a week away from coming home. And the last I heard from him was, "You're not welcome home. You're not welcome here." And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to be released from here and I have nowhere to go.
I had
And
already moved your stuff out.
he had called his friends, or mutual friends, um, to help him move my things out of the home and into storage. And I didn't know this. Obviously, I was not there, but I began to speak with my the acquaintance I had there, and she gave me her ex-husband's phone number, and he was an attorney. And she's telling me, "Is your name on the lease?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my name's on the lease." But he's telling me not to come back there. She's telling me I have every right to go back there. That I don't have to be homeless. That I go back there. And at this point, I'm pissed off, and I'm really pissed. Figure that out. But anyway, um, I wasn't gonna be homeless again. So, um, my mom picked me up the day that I got out, and
Which she thought I thought you were getting out later,
right,
but I knew.
yeah. So, as soon as I got out, while I was in the parking lot, I called the lawyer, and he said, asked me a bunch of questions, and he said, "Is your name on the lease?" And I said, "Yes, it is." But he told me he was getting my name off the lease, and he said that's illegal. He can't do that in this state without them talking to you. So that's not true. So I said, okay. And I said, "Do I have every right to go home?" He said, "You have every right in the world to go home. Just go home." Well, I didn't have a key. So I called the landlord. I told him that I was locked out. I knew Lee was at work. And the landlord came and let me in. And when I got there and looked inside, all my things were gone. Something else was odd to me. Um, I go upstairs and the bedroom was made up and the bed was made and there was candles everywhere. I didn't think too much of it, but I thought, yeah, this is odd. Why would he? Anyway, um, my clothes were gone. It really just looked like a single man lived there, um, except for Cameron's things.
Yeah.
Cameron's things were still there. He didn't move out Cameron's things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called him at work. And he said, "Where are you at?" And I said, "I'm home." "Well, how the hell did you get in?" And it was a big argument. And I said, "I have every right to be here." And he hit the roof. He hit the roof. And I called Ron. I told him I was home. "Please bring me Cameron. I hadn't seen him. Please bring me Cameron." And he did. And he brought me Cameron. And I spent some time with Cameron. I got a shower. And I knew it was about time for Lee to come home.
So I came in, got my stuff together, and left.
This was on a Thursday.
Yep.
What I didn't know was she was coming the next day.
No, she was there.
Oh, that's right. She was there.
She was already there.
She was there.
So we went and stayed down the street.
Yeah. She was there. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So,
went and stayed someplace, and
he came. This is how I found out, which was he had put all my things in storage. So I got a shower and I was looking for something to straighten my hair with, and I noticed a hair straightener, and I was pretty sure it was Kia's, my youngest daughter's. It's like, "Oh, Kia left hers here, thank God," and I was using it. And he came in and he said, "Where's her stuff?" And I said, "What stuff? Who are you talking about?" And he told me, and he said, "I want her stuff." And I was like, "What the hell?" And he got her stuff, and he said, I said, "What do you mean? Is she here?" And he said, "Yeah, she's here." And I said, "Okay." And he left out like a bat out of hell. He was gone. And he said, "This isn't over." And I said, "Well, obviously not. Got things here." So I didn't hear from him for 3 or 4 days.
it was 2 days.
2 days, something like that.
Yep. I found a place.
Mm-hmm. And he had showed up with a moving truck.
Movers.
Mm-hmm. And was moving his things out.
All of them except for the couch and the love seat.
Mm-hmm. Right, which we were sitting on.
Yep.
And Cameron was there. And my youngest daughter was there. And my oldest daughter was there, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And it was devastating. I can't even begin to tell you how devastating it was when I looked out the window and I saw Lee get into the car with this other woman. Devastated me. And then I got angry. And then I didn't know what I was going to do because this house was big and it was expensive and there was nothing in it. It was just me and the furniture. So I called on some friends, and I called a place to rent a place, and they brought a TV and a computer. And I got a hold of one of the girls that I had met while I was locked up, and she gave me a job. Just a quick little secretary, put some stuff in a computer job. I knew it was temporary, and it was only to get them caught up. And I was going to work every day. She was picking me up. And I knew better than to try to get a hold of Lee. I knew better. I knew it was done. Days turned into weeks. And I met somebody else. He had come into where I was working and was doing some electrical work, and we just happened to start a conversation, and we were talking, and we began dating, and he began to spend some time with me over at the house, and all I did was talk about a deeper connection. I talked about Lee a lot, and I told this man every single truth I ever had. I was able to tell him anything and everything.
We forgot something.
We did?
We have to rewind and go all the way back to December. Yep, there it was. During December, we had both been dreaming of Kaylee, who was.
We did forget.
We didn't forget. It's just very.
Very painful.
Kaylee had been coming into my dreams for 2 to 3 years since the connection started. And it was this little girl with the most beautiful eyes. And I knew that Sherry and I were supposed to bring Kaylee into this world. I just knew. I mean, it was almost like a part of the connection was she was wrapped around in it. And what Sherry found out was she was gone.
I was actually not sure if we were gonna talk about this. So I remembered when I was, laying in that bed and crying over Lee, and I was getting sick to my stomach. But there's mandatory pregnancy tests every female that comes into the facility. And when they came back and they told me that my pregnancy test was positive.
I couldn't hear.
Wow.
I felt it, but when I shut it off, so I couldn't. You never know what's going to happen when you disconnect from what you're connected to. And what I mean, you can ignore it, but you can't remove it, kind of thing. Where you can create a whole bunch of mind noise to where it just doesn't exist. And at that point, the mind noise was there. But she tried to tell me. And then
Why would he believe me?
Right. I wasn't going to believe anything.
Why would he believe me?
Yep.
And I knew that. I knew it in the back of my head. Why would he believe this? Why? I almost contemplated not telling him, but my emotions got the best of me, and my ego got the best of me, and my anger got the best of me. And so, wow, was it painful knowing that our dreams had come true. I had destroyed them on a deeper level than I had destroyed them before. And so I was going through that by myself. And I was having a really hard time, obviously. And Lee was gone. He was done. He was just done. And I had met this other guy, and it was months. It wasn't just weeks. It was months. And, but during those months, when Lee and I did talk, which was very rare, it was arguments and me threatening to end the pregnancy. And I had made an appointment to do so because I couldn't stand the thought of having Lee's child. It was almost as if it was eating me inside. I couldn't stand it. And he wouldn't listen to me. Anything I said, he wouldn't listen to me at all. At all. And I'm seeing this other guy, and things are getting pretty serious, and I'm able to talk to him. I'm able to be honest with him. The difference is, he wasn't the one that I wanted to tell my truths to. So it wasn't the same. And it ended up being confrontational because he wasn't understanding the level of spiritual connection that I was trying to explain to him was real and was there. And he didn't buy it. He couldn't understand, and it ended up leading into arguments and things. But it was during that time I was able to keep my mind off of Lee. And then the 2 days before my appointment, or I didn't go to my appointment.
What ended up happening was, at some point I felt the child, but then I felt her with this other person, and it angered me. So I decided that it would be best for me to go out of state for a while. So I did that. And on that night, we had a conversation.
To be with the other woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I told her, I said, I can give as good as I get. I remember the conversation, and I was so angry because here she is telling me she's carrying our child, but at the same time with somebody else. Not that she wasn't with somebody else prior. So it was all just like a domino effect of lies for me. And I was just angry, and I was hurt. And the pains in my chest weren't stopping. They weren't subsiding. They weren't going away. And I could feel the stress of everything, not just in my own stress. I could feel her stress, and I couldn't trust her, and I didn't believe her, and I just wanted to be gone. So I went out of state, and I think 2 days later, after me leaving, you lost the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can remember so little because it was so painful, but I can remember being so mad and being so hurt that I wanted it to go away. I didn't want any part of it. And what was worse was I wanted it to go away to get back at him. And when that happened, and he still had moments of doubt, of disbelief, and at that point in time I began to not care, but care more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because I think that's when I had the dream, and Kaylee in the dream says, "I'm going to go now, Daddy." And that was the last I've dreamed of her. I haven't dreamed of her since. And that's when you lost her.
Mm. And I just threw myself into this other person, and I started drinking as much as I could when Cameron wasn't there. When Cameron was there, I poured my whole heart into him. And my daughters were there for me, my oldest and my youngest, and they were there for me a lot. A lot. And we just done things together, and I tried to repair my relationship with them, and I just wanted to be mom to them. And God, I missed Lee so bad. And I knew I had no choice but to move on. And there was one point in time I just surrendered. I said, this is it. I have to live the rest of my life connected to this guy that I love so much, but be in a regular human relationship with somebody who doesn't get it. I have to settle for somebody who doesn't believe in this connection, who doesn't get it. And he wasn't the only one I was dating. I mean, I dated 2 or 3 different people, just regular, normal dates. I wasn't sleeping with anybody else. I went to dinner a few times, but the whole time, I was mourning Lee. I was mourning him, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get over him. It was painful, very painful, and it wasn't a short amount of time. It was months. I'm gonna keep reiterating that because it was a pain that we stayed in for. You had moved into a gated community, and I didn't hear from you. And then there was an email that I had sent you.
Yep.
And
My anger had subsided somewhat, but the pain and loss of losing her, losing the dream, and the dream disappearing quieted my mind. And when I mean quieted my mind, I had to have some clarity and I had to have some closure. Because no matter what, this connection wasn't leaving. And here I was again, faced with maybe I should be her friend or maybe not. But I was just still too, I was still to the point where I just knew that there's no way. No. I couldn't get past it because I loved myself unconditionally enough to put conditions on there to start trying to love her again. And I still didn't know any truth.
it was an odd night. You and I had been emailing for probably 2 or 3 weeks, and it was ugly. It was back and forth about how you could never trust me and how much you loved me but you didn't like me, and how much you
Yep.
could never be with me again, and how much you hope I'm happy, and that you hope that I find my truth. And the emails were devastating, and they were eliminating all hope that we would ever be back together. He would, it was coming up on Easter, and I remember distinctively, um, my kids were coloring eggs, and for some reason you were on the phone, and I don't know what it was about. I don't know what it was about, but I could tell that you were in the car, and I said, okay, well, what are you doing? And you said, I'm on my way out of state. And I said, oh, okay. So I knew that you were going back to visit her, and it wasn't like across the country or anything. It was just a state away. And at that point, I can remember crying, and I had to excuse myself from the kids, and I went upstairs, and I just cried. I laid my face in the pillow, and I wasn't jealous, and I wasn't hurt that you were going there. I just knew that it was over. And I knew that you wasn't coming back. And I had to let you go. And I did. I just let you go.
You had to let me go just as much as I had to let you go.
Right.
Because keeping you was too toxic for you to not see what it was you were doing.
Right. And this other guy would say to me, are you done? Are you guys done? Are you guys done? Are you guys done? Because I don't want to get in the middle. I don't want to do all this. And finally, I'd said to him, yeah, it's over. We're done. We're done. There's no doubt. We're done.
And we were. Even through all of that. But I knew that I deserved the truth. I deserved something that I couldn't see that she could give to me because she just couldn't tell me any truth. I had to, every time I was being faced with hidden agendas, hidden lies, hidden This is the thing, when you spend your entire life hiding and then you come into this union, it brings you out of hiding. And what you're hiding in there, if it's filled with pain, know that you're going to endure some pain going into this.
And in my head, or in my heart, I guess I should say, the only person that I trusted, that I believed in, was Lee. The only person that I never wanted to hurt was Lee. The only person that I wanted to be honest with was Lee. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how. And he's the one that I hurt the most. And that hurt me the most. So I had to let it go, and I did. And it was painful, and I knew that we would always be connected. And that's what really helped me to be able to function, is knowing that we would always be connected. But then there was that connection where I was feeling you with her. And it was painful, and it was getting stronger. And I was beginning to feel you physically with her. And I couldn't stop it. I didn't know what to do. And we'll get to that in the next one. They're going to throw vegetables at me. They are. We're going to get hate mail.
No, they're not. You have to remember, by doing this, we have to free you guys, because it's like a deadlocked game from there. This is where most of everybody on the planet becomes stuck when it comes to connection, comes to relationship, comes to twin flames, comes to soulmate.
Right.
Don't worry, answers are coming.
And we are. I'm going to do a question and answer segment.
On all these?
On all these. That'll be interesting. So if you want to submit your questions, you can submit them in YouTube, in Google+.
Why don't we do this? If you guys want, down below, tell us, do you think we should do a Blog Talk Radio? Should we do a YouTube Hangout where we can actually...
That's a Google Hangout.
A Google Hangout. Yeah. Well, it shows up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. It really does.
Anyway, we could do... or we could do it in a Facebook group. However you guys would like to do this. Because, honestly, this is us giving back for you.
Right.
Because this is part of why we're here. We're going to show you some things in the next coming episodes that are going to change the game.
Yeah. Just when you think it's over.
Right? Remember, it was final.
Sherry, there can't be any more.
Well, we're sitting here, aren't we?
Well, there was more. But, okay.
Yeah. We love you guys.
We do.
Thank you.
We really do. Thank you for all the amazing comments. And thank you for allowing us this opportunity to be so honest and come to you in our truth and help you through your journeys, because it's happening.
Yes. Way to go, Mike. Way to photobomb. Yeah, it's all about you, buddy. All about you.
Because that's why we're here. We are here to
serve Mike.
Other than that, we are. We are really here to serve Mike.
Timing was perfect.
We're here to help you, and
we've shed a lot of tears to get you here, and there's a whole lot more coming. But it's the.
Yeah, might as well.
It's gonna be.
Might as well keep staying honest with them.
Well, cool thing is, like I said, answers are coming.
Yeah.
And there'll be just as many tears on the answers as there's anything else. So thank you guys.
We love you guys.
We love you.